and welcome here to TalkFCB, and welcome back to another video on the channel. Today, guys, we are going to be talking once again about the President Joan Laporta, but today we're going to be talking about his transfer plans after he announced that he still expects the club to make 3 or 4 more signings this summer, but we're not only going to be focusing on that side of things today, because we are also going to be talking about Laporta's plans for departures this summer. It is all coming up, the full overview. So, let's get to it. Because indeed, guys, the first thing that we really do have to discuss when it comes to our transfer plans is all about departures. Because as we spoke about yesterday when we talked there about Laporta's words at the General Assembly, it was really interesting to hear him talk in depth about the finances, about the crisis that we still find ourselves in, and the kind of limitations that will give us heading into this summer transfer window. So if you haven't yet seen that video, of course, from late last night, I think there's plenty of really interesting information in there for you guys. And I think based on those words that we heard from the President, we are going to see changes. I don't think there should be any doubt at all about that. Obviously, right now, we haven't sold anyone. We haven't got anyone out the door. We haven't seen a lot of activity there about players departing the club, but it will happen, quite simply, because it has to happen. We are at a stage right now where the wage bill is unsustainable. We must see changes. Laporta knows he'll have to do what needs to be done, and I want to start there by talking about forwards. Because, of course, following the additions there of, first of all, Sergio Agüero on that free transfer, and now, of course, after Memphis Depay has been announced as a new Barcelona player, I think those two are very, very good additions to the squad, especially when you consider that it's costing us absolutely nothing in terms of a transfer fee to bring them in. But as a result of those signings, it's now been widely pointed out that, you know what, at Barca, we've got a lot of forwards right now. We have a lot of players there in attacking areas, and as you can see here, there are now 8 first-team forwards registered there at the club. Francisco Trincao, Martin Braithwaite, Ousmane Dembélé, and Ansu Fati. Of course, we can't forget him. He may not have been fit last season, but he's going to be a really important player for us next season. Memphis, of course, Agüero, Messi, we expect to be here. And, of course, Antoine Griezmann. And so what you can quite clearly see there from that list is that they can't all stay. There is absolutely no chance there that all of those players could remain at the club from a financial point of view, but also, of course, from a playing point of view as well. We've only got so many spots available. We've only got so much playing time to go around. And this is, of course, without the upcoming Alex Collado, who is expected there to take his place in the first team. Of course, the first person that I would say will definitely leave the club this summer, it's Martin Braithwaite. I will personally be sad to see him go in terms of his personality, but he wants to go somewhere and get more regular game time. And I think the time has come now to move on, but I think his performances, given the circumstances at the Euros, will certainly raise some interest in him, and we should get a pretty decent fee to move him on. Another player there from that list that I would say, you know, it's touch and go whether he will continue at Barca is Francisco Trincao. We have discussed him on a number of occasions so far this summer. There is interest there from the Premier League. The club haven't really decided as of right now what to do with him, whether a loan deal, whether a sale, or whether we give him another chance there and more opportunities to show what he can do. And I think as well, when you are looking at that list, we've always been thinking this summer there's going to be one big exit. I always felt as though if we signed Agüero and Depay, somebody big would need to go. Would that be Dembélé? Would that be Antoine Griezmann? And of course, what's Dembélé's latest injury done to those plans? Because I think he would have been quite a likely candidate to move on this summer. Of course, his contract situation isn't helping things right now either. I think we could have sold him this summer, but of course now he's out of the Euros. He's left the French training camp. There's already been talk in the media about a serious problem that he may have, potential surgery. That's going to keep him out there. We don't know, but it could be months. And if it is, who's going to sign him? That is seriously going to impact our summer now. Dembélé may not be able to be moved on, and that leaves us in a real situation because I don't really see us getting the kind of offer that we'd need to sell Griezmann. I don't think that offer is going to arrive, which means we are going to be left there, even with a few departures, with many, many forwards for quite few places. And of course, guys, it was really interesting this past weekend, once we'd wrapped up the signing there of Memphis Depay, our 4th signing of the summer, that Joan Laporta came out in the media and he said, you know what, we're not done. He said there are going to be 3 or 4 more signings in this team. He said we're going to make a very competitive team. We've already seen it with the additions of García, Agüero, Emerson, and the other players too who are on the verge of signing. So Laporta there, quite clearly, not done yet. And now it should be noted that quote there did emerge before the official announcement of Memphis. So I think one of those players is already accounted for. So I think we're going to see potentially 3 more signings. And if we are going to see those, who departs? And in what areas are we likely still to see players come in? And the first position that I do believe we are definitely going to see a signing come in this summer is in centre midfield. I think certainly there Ronald Koeman, he's had it in his mind all summer long, and as well last summer, that he wanted to sign a new midfield there. He wants to sign somebody who's strong, who has there a physical presence, who can play box to box, who can press high, and who can win individual duels out on the field. And of course it's no secret that that player should have been Georginio Wijnaldum. That's the player that Koeman has wanted now for a long time. And credit to Laporta, he did try to give the coach what he wanted. He did make every effort there to bring in Wijnaldum to the club, but unfortunately, it was the player in the end who let Ronald Koeman down. But I think that appears to be still the club's next priority. They want to bring in somebody there who matches Koeman's demands in that area. I think that will probably be our next signing. I don't think it's going to be anything too expensive, crazy expensive, but I do expect us to sign a midfielder this summer. But of course, for me, that shouldn't be our next priority. Our next priority above everything else, apart from the departures and what we've already discussed, our priority should be defence. Strengthen that back line. I know we brought in Emerson, I know we brought in García, but we have to sign some defenders here who can come in and improve what we saw last season was our weakest area. Now, of course, at left back, we know that Junior FIRPO is almost certain to leave the club this summer. He's actually one of the few players in the squad who has plenty of interest right now. There's interest in Serie A, there's interest in the Premier League. We should be easily able to sell Junior FIRPO for a pretty good fee, and then who'll replace him? Now, at the start of the summer, we heard a lot about Jose GAYA from Valencia, somebody there who I personally would really like to see come into the club. I think he's a brilliant left back there and would suit us perfectly, 26 years old. But the problem right now is that the negotiations between Valencia, they're not going ahead. We are not talking with Valencia, at least right now, for Jose GAYA because they're holding out for his €40 million release clause. Whether that will stay the same as the summer goes on, we'll have to wait and see. Of course, yesterday we did discuss as well Robin Gosens, the player there who's been on fire so far at Euro 2020, an absolutely stunning performance that it was from him against Portugal, which really brought him into the public domain. But apparently, even before that, Ronald Koeman was very keen on Robin Gosens because actually he's somebody there who played a lot of his youth career in the Netherlands. He actually has dual nationality, and when Koeman there was with the Dutch national team, he actually wanted Robin Gosens to come and play for the Netherlands. So actually Koeman has been an admirer now of Gosens for quite some time, and that actually for me is incredibly frustrating because why didn't we pursue this deal before the Euros happened? Had we done that, we may have been able there to get Gosens for a decent fee, whereas now you're looking 35, 40 million is being reported in the media, and that for us probably is going to be too high. And another name that is coming up right now at left back, somebody who has been linked with a return to the club many seasons in a row, Alex Grimaldo, a player there that now is 25 years old. He is 25. I remember Grimaldo leaving there in 2017. He was captain of Barça B. He was expected to be a really huge talent, but I think he would have expected to move on from Benfica and secure a really big move before now. But apparently this summer, with his contract set to expire in 2023, Benfica would be open there to an offer of €20 million. So potentially there, Grimaldo, a bit of a cheaper option, somebody the club know well, and it's believed he'd love to return. And I think certainly, guys, what those left-back targets tell you there, the likes of GAYA, Gosens, Grimaldo, what you will notice there is a reoccurring theme. GAYA, 26. Gosens, 26. Grimaldo, 25. I think the club are very specific here. They are looking for somebody to come in that area and hit the ground running and perform now. We're not buying potential. We're not trying to bring in somebody there who can work under Jordi Alba and just accept that he's going to play second fiddle. We want somebody to come in, challenge, and ultimately replace in that position. But of course, guys, like I have said in many videos right throughout the summer, we can talk about forwards, we can talk about midfielders, we can talk there about fullbacks, but the one area in this team that's still going into the new season, I'm sitting there thinking, I'm not convinced. I'm not sure that we have enough at centre-back right now, because that was the area last season that was so vulnerable. Have we got enough there to really improve? And is there anything we can do in the remainder now of the transfer window to solve that problem? Now, the most likely player to leave the club in terms of that centre-back area is Samuel Umtiti. He's posted several pictures, I have to say, and videos throughout the summer there of him working on his fitness, but I don't really think that's going to be enough for the club to consider giving him yet another chance in the team in the coming season. But again, with him, it's a case of finding a club out there who are going to match those wages, or at least come close to it. Otherwise, he's going to be happy to just sit there on the bench and pick up that paycheck. And of course, Eric García has arrived. I'm really excited to see what he can do. I think he's certainly got potential, but obviously right now, we're still looking for somebody established. We're still looking there for somebody who's experienced and can come in and give us some solidity at centre-back. Now, of course, we have been linked to Aymeric Laporte, somebody who, in my opinion, would fit that bill. He would come in and help to transform our defence and make it a lot stronger. But as we also know, that would come at a price. If you go after players like that, you are going to be expected to pay the big money, which until we sell players, until we get players off the wage bill, until we can generate some transfer fees, we don't have that money to work with. That's what Laporta was saying yesterday when discussing our finances. So I think these weeks, these upcoming weeks now, especially as the international tournaments do come towards their end, we are going to have to make some serious moves. We've got to generate interest for our players. We've got to get the best possible transfer fees for the likes of Junior Firpo, for the likes of Martin Braithwaite, getting every possible euro that we can. And for me, look to that defence and find a way to make it stronger. And so indeed, guys, that for me is Laporta's plans in terms of the remainder of the transfer window. He's very clear in his mind that he still wants to add players to this team to make it as competitive as possible ahead of next season. But departures, that is the area now where our attention turns, and who we bring in will be dictated by the money we can receive and the wages that we can remove from our unsustainable wage bill. Let me know your thoughts down below, and let me know how you see the rest of the transfer window going. Who would you like to bring in? Who's realistic? And what do you think is going to happen at the end of it all? I will see you soon, of course. There will be more videos. You can guarantee that. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, Visca El Barça.